Good afternoon, everyone. Now we will see the lead compensation. Generally, the lead compensator will call when a system having one pole and one dominated zero. A system is having one pole and one dominating zero. Dominating zero is nothing but the zero which is very close to the origin. This dominating zero lies very nearer to the origin when compared with all other poles and zeros. That is what dominating zero means. This dominating zero on the S plane so that you will understand later. And if a system is having one pole and one dominating zero, then that network is called as a lead network or lead compensation network. Right, and you can see this is the lead compensation network. Generally, in the morning, in the previous video, we have discussed that in the most used electrical compensator is RC filter circuit. So here you can see this is the lead network. In this lead network, we have used RC combination. Also, we'll use the same for other systems also, for other compensators also. Okay. And in any of the system, if you want to add a dominating zero, then definitely we need to choose the lead compensation. If any of the control system, if you want to add a dominating zero, then definitely we will choose lead compensation. Okay. And the basic requirement for this lead network compensation is all the poles and zeros of the transfer function of this particular network must lie on the negative real axis, which is the left half of the plane, because in the left half of the plane only we have the stability. On the right half of the plane, the system will be unstable, right? So all the poles and zeros of the network must lie on the left half of the S plane so that we can get the stability. Otherwise, if any of the pole or zero lies on the right half of the S plane, then that system may become unstable. Okay, so we have to see the design part and we have to see the pole and zero of this network. We have to calculate the transfer function initially, because we are adding this compensator. We are adding this compensator in series or in feedback. So this G of S is the main system gain. H of S is the feedback gain. Then calculate the compensator gain. So if you place a lead compensator here, so we have to get the transfer function. Then only we can write the gain here, right? So for that, the compensator network, we know the lead compensator network. This is the lead compensator network. So from this electrical network, we have to transfer function so that we will get the gain. We can substitute that gain there and we can simplify to get the stability analysis of the entire system after inserting the compensation. So for getting this transfer function, first what we do, write the KVL equations or KCL network, right? Use KVL or KCL equations. You can write the equations. Here you can see the voltage V1 is the input voltage, V2 is the output voltage. So according to the transfer function definition, output voltage by input voltage, that is in terms of Laplace. That is in terms of Laplace, which means the Laplace transform of output voltage to the Laplace transform of input voltage will be the transfer function. However, the initial conditions are set to 0. So V2 of S by V1 of S will be the transfer function for this electrical network. So write the equations and bring V2 of S by V1 of S. And you can see here, from that circuit, we can use KVL or KCL or current division rule or voltage division rule. Anything you can use, you will get the equations like this. So V2 of S by V1 of S is equal to R2 by R2 plus R1 into 1 by CS by R1 plus 1 by CS. Here C is there, R1, C and R1 both are connected in parallel, and here R2 is there. Okay, so C and R1 both are connected in parallel. So if you simplify this expression, then we will get the V2 of S by V1 of S as R2 into R1 CS plus 1 by R1 R2 CS plus R1 plus R2. So what I do is I wanted to take this R1 plus R2 as common, because this is the S term. So the coefficient of S, I wanted to write the entire term in terms of 1 plus ST format. So for that purpose, I am taking common as R1 plus R2. If you take R1 plus R2 as common, then you will get R1 R2 CS by R1. You can see like this. R1 plus R2 taken out, which is taken common. So R1 R2 CS by R1 plus R2 plus 1, because R1 plus R2 is taken out, right? So plus 1 will be there. And here the R2 is there, this R2 is written. Now I got 1 plus ST format here. This is 1 plus ST format. So what I should write is R2 by R1 plus R2. For this term, consider R2 by R1 plus R2 as alpha. This alpha is also called as attenuation constant. This is a constant value, which is attenuation constant. You can see R2 by R1 plus R2. That means the numerator is always low than the denominator. R2 is the second resistance, R1 is the first resistance, R2. So R1 plus R2 means total resistances. Resistance is a real value. So this is a real constant. Alpha is a real constant, which is called as attenuation constant. So in the place of R2 by R1 plus R2, simply write alpha. And similarly, here also in the denominator also, R2 by R1 plus R2. In this place, we can write alpha. Then what we left with? We left with R1C1 in the numerator as well as the denominator. So this R1C1 is the time constant tau. You may write capital T or tau as the time constant, which is R1C. So in the place of R1 into C, I'll replace tau, and similarly in the place of R2 by R1 plus R2, I'll replace alpha. So after replacing all the terms, you can see here in this place alpha, and R1C means tau into S plus 1 divided by here alpha is there and tau is there. So alpha into tau into S plus 1. So this is the transfer function of the lead compensator. Transfer function of a lead compensator. We know how to calculate the poles and zeros. Pole is nothing but the denominator root. Zero is nothing but the numerator root. Right? Numerator will have zeros and the denominator will have poles. So this equation again has been written like this, where GC of S is the gain representation of lead compensator. This is G means gain, C means compensator. So the compensator gain is 1 by tau, because if you take tau in the both in the numerator as well as in the denominator common, then you will get tau. In the denominator, take alpha and tau common. So if you take common terms, then what you will have, alpha will be there in the numerator and tau is taken out the common. So here S will be there. So S plus 1 by tau, we will get 1 by tau. And similarly, in the denominator, take alpha tau common to cancel out the numerator. To cancel out the numerator, taking alpha tau as common, now cancel out these two. Of course, if you take alpha tau as common, we will left with s plus 1 by alpha tau. Right? According to the general representation for determining the poles and zeros, the general representation of the transfer function is s plus z in the numerator, where z represents a 0. And in the denominator, we will write s plus p. We have seen this generalized formula from second unit onwards. Right? So now you compare these two equations, s plus 1 by tau. That means the 0 is top is 0, which is minus 1 by tau. So the 0 will be z is equal to, we'll get minus 1 by tau, because this is lies on the negative half of the s plane, which means left side of the s plane, because we are getting the stability, right? So for getting the stability, we have to keep all the poles and zeros on the left half of the s plane only. And for p, we'll get it is a 1 by alpha t, alpha tau or alpha t. We got the 0 and we got the pole. Now place on the graph sheet, then you will get like this. So this is the s plane. So in this s plane, this is the 0 representation. You can see 0 is represented, which is 1 by minus t or minus tau. Similarly, the pole is represented as minus 1 by alpha t. And however, you can observe, sir, you can ask that, sir, why the pole is very far from the origin, why the 0 is nearer to the origin? Because alpha is there. If we multiply the tau with alpha, and which is reciprocal, then we may get a chance of getting higher value, right? But you remember that the alpha value is always less than 1. The alpha value is always less than 1, because see this formula, r2 by r1 plus r2. That means the numerator is low than the denominator. That means always we will get alpha less than 1. That means what? In the denominator, the alpha value is less. The denominator is less, then the entire value will be more. Right? So the denominator is less now because of alpha, because we will get the alpha below 1. Below 1 means we will get the point. So if the denominator is, then the entire value will become high. That's why always the pole is lies this side, left side, and here the 0 is always lies on the right side, which is very nearer to the origin. You can see the 0 is very nearer to the origin. Okay, so that's why you can see clearly, we can say that minus 1 by t, which is the 0, minus 1 by t is the 0, right? You can see minus 1 by t is the 0, which is the 0 of the transfer function is closer to the origin than the pole. So that means we can say that the lead compensator 0 is more dominating than the pole. More dominating. Why more dominating? Because it is very close to the origin. The 0 is very close to the origin in the lead compensator. Because of this, the lead compensator introduces positive phase angle when the compensator is connected in series with the system. So when we connect the lead compensator in series with the system, then it will add the phase. Means it will add the angle. That's why it is called as lead compensator. And you can also see the Bode plot of the lead compensator. So for getting the Bode plot, we have derived the transfer function in S domain. So this is the transfer function of the lead compensator in S domain. So we have to convert this S domain into frequency domain so that we can draw the Bode plot, right? So How we can convert S domain into frequency domain? By simply substituting S is equal to j omega. We have seen in the Bode plots concept as well as in the polar plots concept, right? So substitute S is equal to j omega in the given transfer function so that the GC of j omega, not S here, equal to alpha into 1 plus j omega tau or T, capital T, you may use capital T also, by 1 plus j alpha omega tau. Here the condition is alpha must less than 1. And with this transfer function, open loop transfer function, we can draw the Bode plot, right? We have already done many problems on the Bode plot. So if you plot the Bode magnitude plot as well as the phasor plot, you will get the plots like this. Phasor plot, and this is the magnitude plot. So tau and alpha are very important parameters, in order to control these Bode plots. You can see tau, alpha, alpha tau. Anywhere you can see alpha and tau, important parameters. So that means alpha and tau, what are the values of alpha and tau? Tau is R1C, alpha is R2 by R1 plus R2. That means what? These three elements based on R1, C and R2, based on the changes we made to these elements, can change the Bode plot. We know how to bring the unstable system to the stable system with the help of Bode plot, right? So if a system is unstable, then we can regulate this alpha and tau values, right? We can regulate the alpha and tau values so that this Bode plot, phasor and magnitude plots will get varied. So alpha and tau values are varying means we can control, means that means we can have a chance to regulate R1, R2 and C, these parameters. So by controlling these three parameters, by control R2 and C, these parameters, we can control alpha and tau, which can bring the system, when it is unstable, it will bring the system into the stable region. Right? So this is how we have to design the compensator to bring the entire system into stable region. So this is the process. This is the main idea of designing a compensator. Right? Of course, there are few advantages, disadvantages for the lead compensation. Before going to the advantage and disadvantage, let's see the effects of lead compensation. The effects if we add the lead compensator to the entire system. If we add the lead compensator to the system, then the slope of the magnitude plot reduces at the gain crossover frequency. At the gain crossover frequency, the slope of the magnitude plot is reduces. That means what? The stability improves. The stability improves and error will get decreased, because the error is directly proportional to the slope. If the slope is more, then error is more. But because of the lead compensator, the slope reduces at the gain crossover frequency. That means error is less, so stability improves. So this is the first effect. And next, phase margin increases. And third effect will be response becomes very fast. Right? And coming to the advantages of the lead compensator, that the speed of the system increases because it shifts the gain crossover frequency to the higher value. So when we draw the Bode plot, the gain crossover frequency will be shifted by adding this compensator. By adding this compensator, the gain crossover frequency will be shifted to the higher value. So if the gain crossover frequency become higher, then the speed of the system will get increased. So that is the one of the advantage. And second one is maximum peak overshoot will get reduced. We'll have less peak overshoot. But only one disadvantage for the lead compensator, that is the steady state error is not improved. So we cannot improve the steady state error with the lead compensator. So that is the disadvantage. This is about lead compensator. Thank you.